Welcome everyone to our Fireside Chat. I'm lucky to have Sarah Pick here with me today. She is part of the Visionary Women exhibit that was held at the Columbia Art Center and unfortunately, due to our current situation, is hidden away. But what I wanted to do was talk to a number of the artists and give a chance to tell us a little bit about their work and where we can find them. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this, Racquel.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm so glad that we were able to work out a time to get together.
Thank you. Thank you for your flexibility.
Of course. Of course. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got to where you are currently?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm a fused glass artist, and I started actually working with mosaics. That's how I came to fused glass. My mother is a weaver, and she tried for years to get me on looms and teach me all kinds of handcrafts, and I could never master it. And I always felt like I wasn't creative because I could not get into weaving. And as soon as I started working with glass, I realized I was in the wrong medium. So whenever people tell me I'm not creative, I think everyone has creativity. You just have to discover your medium. And
Yeah.
Glass, I've been doing about 15, 16 years, and I never get tired of it. It's like being in love, except always in that, initial, everything is fabulous. Like you can,
the honeymoon phase.
When you're in really creative states, you go to bed, you're dreaming about some designs or, yeah, it's an amazing thing.
And so you've been in a continual honeymoon phase for 15
years. Yes, pretty much, yeah. And it's
good.
very addictive.
So what was it that made you realize it was for you?
Well, when I tried to master weaving, I just, it was insurmountable. And as soon as I started playing with glass, and I actually recommend to people to try mosaics because it's a very low threshold. There are amazing mosaic artists out there all over the world, but with very little training and very little experience, you know, you can take a class. And the Columbia Art Center, by the way, when they get up and running, they have some great 2-hour, 3-hour mosaic classes. And I think the idea for me of playing around with different colors, and I just love glass. The clarity of it, as you work more and more, I have 2 kilns. A big girl's kiln, it's professional grade, and a smaller one. And fused glass is, okay, so working with glass, there's cold work, which would be like mosaics. You don't have to heat anything up. Fused glass is often called warm glass because you're working in 1300, 1400 degrees, and you can layer it in your home. You can have a kiln. Whereas hot glass, which a lot of people are familiar with from those Renaissance festivals, blowing glass, it is in the 2500 degree range. So you really can't have that in your home. Although, so people go to they go to a studio and they work in a furnace. So I love having fused glass. One of the things that fused glass artists get into very quickly is I'll show you all the different little, this is called accessory glass. So we have glass that is almost all the glass, fused glass that people get all over the world actually comes from a manufacturer, Bullseye, in Portland, Oregon. I can look at an artist who's working in Denmark or, I don't know, in Australia, and I can see by different shades that they're mostly, I mean, I think almost all over the world except for Murano, Italy, where I think they're taking, I don't want to get into the whole chemical thing, but you can't mix, like I can't take a wine bottle and mix it with this because it will end up shattering. So you have to you have to think about compatibility.
Okay, so the different properties of the pieces.
The different properties of the glass. So Bullseye not only makes sheet glass, which I can take the phone at some point and show you these big sheets that I get, but they also make ground glass. So it comes in 4 different sizes of roundness. So this is coarse. Coarse is chunky.
So it's like coffee beans.
Yeah. Well, it makes a totally different effect. And let me see what I have here to show you. When you put a powder, this is the powder, over chunky, it makes an effect. So here's a good example.
Okay.
This piece underwater, can you see the little clear circles on it? So those were clear chunky.
Ah, okay.
And they make, so I put clear chunky on top of clear sheet glass, and then put blue powder, and the blue powder makes a whole outline.
So, and it's basically a quantity that forces it to the edge because your clear glass is so large.
Right, and the chunks, the powder is capturing the shape of the chunks. So there's a lot going on in this.
Very cool.
Thank you. There's also the piece that I have right now in the Visionary exhibit has aspects of this foreground, which is, it's reactive. It has glasses, working with glasses, of course, in art form, but there's also a lot of chemistry. So there are glasses that primarily have cadmium, and they're glasses that have sulfur, and this is not paint that I put on here. The little brown spots are the blues reacting to this beige.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So there's a little magic involved too.
A little magic, yeah.
So what's the other piece behind you? Let's take a minute. We've got a few more minutes. Let's look at that one as well.
So I don't only work in blues. I was lining up right before the call. I thought, oh, they're going to think all I do is blue. But I really love the transparency of glass.
Oh, yeah.
And
angle it a little bit more because it'll kill that. There you go. Perfect. Yep.
Yeah. So if you were seeing it in person, you would see that I have taken clear glass, and by layering it, I can make shades darker. So
gotcha. Yeah.
What's also interesting is you can work at 4 or 5. You can fire over and over and over again with almost all the glass. So here's a little piece here, which see if I can hold this up closer to the camera. Can you see how by layering it, it makes it a darker blue?
Yeah. It's sort of like the way you would do watercolor. The
yes,
transparencies of watercolor.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's
interesting.
They're called tints, and I also love that you might be able to see that there's a lot of, I love three-dimensionality in a lot of my pieces, and there's some bubbles that I've captured there.
Oh yeah,
And there's also, well, there's a lot going on. There's twisted pieces, and I'll show you. Can I pick the phone up for 1 second and show you?
We've got just a couple more minutes. Yes.
So. Okay. So I'm going to show you this box of, those are all kinds of twisted pieces. And those are made by taking glass up almost to that hot glass temperature, taking it really high and pulling it through a small flower pot with a hole in it.
Oh, really?
And so when you get it all the way up high, and of course you have thick asbestos heat gloves and metal tools to pull the glass through that hole and twist it. So I really love getting pieces assembled and then putting them together for one final piece of work. So people often ask me, well, where do you get your inspiration, or how do you decide on a picture? And I was going to hold up, like, sometimes it's just a really pretty design. This is a napkin. And that can start us on, maybe it's the same for painters, but it can start you on a direction. And I love making little pieces that then I think, oh, this could all be put together in a bigger piece.
Right, right. Yeah, and I think it's the same thing. Like I think it's for painters, like seeing it, and then I'll say processing it. And do you know what I mean? Like you take it and be like, oh, what could I do with it? And so it's sort of like or assemblage, where it's like you take pieces that are seemingly disparate and then you put them together and somehow they make sense.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wonderful. So let me ask you this. Where can we find you?
Thank you for asking that. So I sell my work at Horse Spirit Gallery, which is in Savage, Maryland.
Yeah. So it's up near Savage Mill, like the
Savage
old mill.
And I also enter various shows like this Visionary Women. So I have a piece there. I have a piece in 2 other galleries that are closed right now.
Yeah.
But I also have Instagram under my name, Sarah Pick, P-I-C-K, and
Sarah with an H?
With an H, S-A-R-A-H-P-I-C-K. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I also have an Instagram account under Sarah Pick, and I think my Facebook is under Dancing Glass Designs.
So do you have a website, or is it just the Instagram and the, no, fair enough. It's good to know. So basically Instagram and Facebook are the 2 main places other than galleries when they reopen.
Right. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk today.
Thank you, Racquel. I love what you're doing with this.
Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay. Thanks.